officials in Nigeria will do anything to keep us struggling. It is not just corruption, it's by design. In those countries where Nigerians japa to, every type of labor, including menial jobs such as plumbing, tailoring, hairdressing, must be paid the legally mandated minimum wage per hour. And that minimum wage isn't picked randomly. It's calculated based on the actual cost of living. This means that whether or not you went to school, as long as you provide value, and I will stress on this later, your time has a set price per hour. And if you work 40 hours per week, you'll be able to afford the basic minimum of food and shelter. But in Nigeria, there is no enforcement for fair wages. The government throws a random number as minimum wage without checking if it covers the actual cost of living. Worst, most employers do not even bother to follow it because nobody holds them accountable. And this isn't because someone is not doing their job. It is intentional. They need cheap labor to maintain their comfort. They need people to clean their homes, mow their lawns, drive them around for peanuts. So they keep people desperate enough to take anything just to survive. Now imagine if all skilled and non-critical jobs were paid a fair, livable wage. What would happen? People wouldn't accept being underpaid. The rich would hire fewer workers, not because they don't need them, but because paying them fairly would force them to rethink their excesses. Now, before you assume this will mean fewer jobs, no, every skill is necessary. Carpenters, hairdressers, tailors, plumbers, society needs all the skills to run. But instead of workers being exploited, they will be properly compensated, ensuring everybody lives decently. This is what will start closing the gap between the rich and the poor. And this is why they don't want it to happen. So what needs to change? We must demand that minimum wage reflects real life expenses. If the government says 70,000 naira per month, amounting to 840,000 naira per year, is sufficient, then they must enforce regulations enforcing that, for example, rent for a standard 2-bedroom flat in a regular neighborhood does not exceed 210,000 naira. Since smart economists advise that your annual rent shouldn't exceed 3 months of your pay. 2, they must regulate school fees to another 20 or 30% of this annual income, or provide free, decent education. Thirdly, 20 to 30% of this annual income should cover all feeding expenses. That means they need to regulate the prices of food in the market, so that even if we cannot save from the minimum wage, at least we're guaranteed of food, shelter, and education.